Welcome back, everyone. Well, as we know, it's a year that will go down in history. The pandemic, it's turned everybody sideways, right? One of the things, and you see how government tries to do its best sometimes. And one of those, of course, was the unemployment programs and the extra benefits that we received each week. A lot of us received each week. And lo and behold, its intention was to help people, and I'm sure it helped an awful lot of people. But the downside of it, of course, is trying to wean yourself from that, get back in the workforce, get back to your career, and get back to being a contributing member of our community. Joining me today is somebody I love to talk to about this topic. This is Liza Ochsendorf, who is the Director of Employment and Training for Warren County. And I had to look down, Liza, just make sure I got the title right. So first, welcome. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. You too, Jeff.
So Liza, I'm going to kind of start there and kind of an update on the current employment issue in our county.
Sure. So Warren County is the same as the rest of the country, right? We have plenty of jobs, but not enough workers. However, we did have some progress from April to May with hundreds more workers returning to work in Warren County. But it's hard to see the impact because we still have thousands of jobs available. But between April and May, we did have hundreds more return back to work, and we're now at 4.5% unemployment. And we look forward to seeing the June numbers at the end of July.
Yeah, I've got you. I'm following the same info that you're following. Hey, other states did, at the time, people were calling it a radical move or whatever. Some people were saying, no, I think it's the right thing to do, is that they were ending unemployment benefits early. What are we seeing from that, if anything?
Yes, correct. So that is the federal extra unemployment, that extra $300 a week. Many states planned I think it was about 26 states ended it early. Some of them are in the process of that. And I've been excited to see if that made a difference or not. And there's mixed reports and mixed reviews right now. So some states are seeing more people interviewing, but where they're not quite seeing more people being hired yet. And so it's a little early to see if that's had an impact, but we'll keep watching it very closely.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too. On the surface, you would think immediately if people didn't have that extra $300, and I forget how they equated it, but it was something like that plus unemployment equaled $18 an hour, which a lot of people couldn't pay. So therefore it paid to stay home, of all things, right? Of course, the problems with that are obvious, right? Hey, you got on it right away, and you worked with a lot of people and created some workforces, some training programs. One that stands out is this regional workforce recruiting thing, Albany to Lake George. Tell us a bit about that and where it came from and what you hope to accomplish.
Yeah, great question. So we know that we have people in the capital region who haven't experienced all that Lake George has to offer yet. And Lake George relies heavily on international students to work in the summer, but we really want to expand these opportunities to people in the Albany, Schenectady, Troy area. So we are working with Tech Valley Shuttle to bring folks up to work in the Lake George area as a summer work opportunity, but we know that we will build on this long term. So there will be, hopefully at some point when we can have it better funded, there will be long-term shuttles bringing people up to work, not just in the summer, but maybe even year round.
Who are you working with on this?
So right now, we're working with some of the biggest employers in Lake George. So Six Flags has workers coming up from the Albany area. We're also working with Fort William Henry and the Lake George Steamboat Company. And it's not just about building a short-term shuttle service for these workers, but really a long-term plan, right? The coordinating, the logistics, knowing what jobs are available and which schedules. And then recruiting people who from the Albany, Schenectady, Troy area who want to learn more about all the work opportunities in Lake George. Some of the folks had never been to Lake George before, even though they only live 45 minutes away.
Well, that's a hard one to believe, right? Of course, we're so fortunate we live here, so we know how beautiful it is. Maybe I should keep it a secret, but maybe not. Hey, and there's a lot to be said for that too, because the migration is coming up the Northway. You know,
Correct.
so much talk that Wilton is the new Clifton Park, and who knows what will be next. And of course, we are very anxious in Warren County to expand to a 365 economy. And, you know, that requires all kinds of other adjustments and stuff. But really, talking to the region is seriously important. I really commend you and whoever you're working with to put that program together. That's seriously good, Liza.
Well, Jesse, you and I have both seen during the pandemic, it's really required a regional approach. And even though we had to socially distance, it actually brought a lot of people together. I'll be at Zoom meetings, but it still brought a lot of minds together and collaborative thinking and new opportunities.
Gotcha. With all that said, what are you seeing currently as kind of the barriers to employment?
So the same ones we've talked about before still exist. It's not just the extra unemployment, but it is still childcare barriers, transportation barriers, housing barriers. All of those barriers impact our workforce and the businesses who need the workers.
I was having a conversation with someone this week about this, and one of the things that came up to it was that, you know, people will tend to focus on the extra $300 a week and not really recognize or pay attention to the fact that, you know, if you're a single parent, that you've got childcare concerns. Well, that actually, Liza, that opens up quite a can of worms, because we had a problem with that prior to the pandemic. So, you know, any kind of attention that can be paid to the logistics of actually being able to work, which would be childcare and transportation, need to be addressed simultaneously with, okay, if we're coming out of the fog here, you know, let's address everything to make the healthiest, most productive workforce that we can. You know, and it sure makes a hell of a lot of sense. Hey, we've got a summer youth employment program that you've started. Of course, that dovetails to everything that we're talking about here. What are some of the highlights of that?
Well, the Summer Youth Employment Program is a long-term program. Every summer across the country, many regions receive federal funds, state funds to get low-income youth into the workforce. And so these are TANF dollars, temporary aid for needy families, and we pay their salaries through our career center, and businesses then get free labor. But there's so many perks that come out of this. So summer youth employment programs are starting across the state right now, and youth are getting work experience. They're getting additional mentors in the community. They're learning great skills. And then they're certainly getting out of the house because they were stuck in the house for 15, 16 months. So we're excited, and we see young people come out of their shells every summer when they participate in the summer youth employment program.
You know, it's so important. It's important in terms of building a career or getting a foothold in the workforce. But just think of the social interaction. We're human beings. We need social interaction, whatever. We feed off of that. So,
Absolutely.
You know, the opportunity there is for them to start to learn a career that may actually prevent them from wanting to move out of the area. You know, when you never want to live in the town you grew up in, right, Liza? It's like, right. I live here, now I'm moving away. You know?
Explore. But we have an aging population here in Warren County. So it's critical that we keep our young people here and that they feel connected here.
Now, when you said aging, were you looking at my beard here?
No, sir.
No, sir. Hey, training is part of your title. And I whenever we talk, I always want to ask you about training programs so that people get a sense of, oh, hey, I might want to swap my career. I'm not happy where I am. Coming out of the pandemic, I learned a lot about what lifestyle I would like to live connected to work and family. Talk a bit about training, okay?
Sure. So as you know, we did start a hospitality training program called PUSH, Pathways Up for Success in Hospitality. And we're enrolling right now again for our second cohort. And that is a lot of online learning. So it's very flexible for anybody. So that's for any residents in Saratoga, Warren, or Washington County who wants to try out the hospitality field. And our PUSH partners with this training program will give an automatic interview to anybody who completes the training. And some of those businesses are giving a higher salary, which is exciting. We also work closely with SUNY Adirondack. They have a new IT training program and 75 free slots available. So the training program is called WRAP IT. And they're teaching web development and Python programming. And so anybody who's underemployed, unemployed, and all they need is a high school diploma, we really encourage them to to contact SUNY Adirondack for that free IT training. And then finally, we continue to have free online training through our Career Center. We also have training dollars if somebody wants to get their CDL license, right? If they're eligible, we would pay for that training. We need CDL drivers in many different industries. And so anybody can reach out to their local Career Center or our Career Center in Warren County if they're a Warren County resident.
Great. I want to cycle back on the last thing because I know if you're watching this, you're thinking to yourself, hey, they might be talking to me. And if so, you want to be able to know where to go. So the web address is on the bottom of the screen, and you'll be able to find out about it. And the one thing I can tell you from the work that I've done with Liza and a number of other businesses and people in Warren County, there's a real concerted effort to try to get on this pandemic behind us, learn from it, and offer the kind of opportunities, for whether you're young or whether you're older, for personal advancement for you, your family. And let's face it, that makes a strong community. So Liza, once again, you're one of the best. I'm telling you, you really are. And I thank you for the update. And feel free to check in with us anytime, okay?
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay, great. Bye.